Hey guys, it's me again, Kika, your lifestyle blogger. Excuse the mess behind me. I know you see that ladder right there, but as I said in the earlier videos, I am going to begin renovating my bedroom space. So I have painting I need to do, staining I need to do, flooring changes I need to do in the bathroom, and just freshening up everything. So that is coming in another video. But in this video, I want to talk about my kitchen redo. So this is very, very important because I know you guys have been watching the videos where I talked about my 100-year-old home, happy birthday, and all the different things that I'm doing so that I can age in place and stay in my home in the future. So in doing that, there are some things that just have to go. And so we talked a little bit briefly about the stove and kind of what that does as you age. When you're cooking, you're leaving the stove on, you're forgetting, just little things like that. And it's little. It's not a big deal if if you're forgetting frequently to leave your stove or turn your stove off, then I recommend maybe getting checked for memory loss. This isn't a memory loss thing. This is just normal things that you go about your day, and some things that's just easily to forget because I'm not cooking the way I used to when my children were little. My grandkids come over and visit me, but that's not always and it's not consistent. So sometimes I utilize my oven, my top burner on my stove. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I get takeout. So when it's just me, it's mostly just takeout that we do. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit about what I'm doing to kind of change things. Now, we know that when you have children and you're raising a family, there are some pertinent things in a kitchen that you just absolutely have to keep. A stove is one of them, okay? Especially if you have a big family. The next big thing that you have to keep is a dishwasher. That's important because you're accumulating a lot of dishes. It's quicker, it's faster, it's easier to use a dishwasher, or more convenient. However, when you are an empty nester and most of your kids are out of the house and you find that you are cooking dinner only for yourself or your husband or your wife or whatever, that is when you need to kind of scale back on kitchen things. You don't even need as big of a fridge. You don't need to fill it up anymore because you're going to the grocery store, and before you used to spend 3, 4, 5, 6, 700 a month on groceries, but now you're only spending $50, $60 here and there just to get certain meals and things that you like. So that is what I want to talk about today, is scaling down your kitchen but still making it so that way when you do have those family gatherings, you can still be able to provide those big meals, but on a regular basis you know that you don't, so you want your kitchen to be functional. So, dishwasher, let's get to that. I have a dishwasher in my space. Now, I painted that dishwasher a while ago. It's been with me since I moved into this house, or since I purchased this house. And I painted that dishwasher so the kids could chalkboard all over it, and that worked really nice for a while. And then I decided to paint it back white when I redid my kitchen. And now I'm at the point where the dishwasher is not really working and vibing with my lifestyle. Not using it. I'd rather wash my dishes because I don't have many. I don't want to put a few dishes in a big old dishwasher and run all of that through the cycle. I don't need to do that. I can just wash my dishes and put them away. And so it's time for the dishwasher to go. And sort in so many words. Okay. Gotta remove the dishwasher. It has to go. So what I've decided to do is put a wine beverage fridge there because I love my wine in the evening. I especially like it chilled, and what I've been doing is getting the box wine, pouring a glass, putting it in the freezer for about a half hour, 45 minutes, and then I would have my nice glass of wine in the evening. That's a lot of effort when you can just get a beautiful wine fridge that complements your kitchen, and the wine is already chilled and ready to drink right away. And so I opted to do that. I searched on Facebook Marketplace. I found the perfect wine fridge. It actually is a dual zone wine fridge, so I can use it as a wine beverage fridge. So one side will be for my wine, one side will be for my beverages. And in keeping with that, I am deciding to scale down on my refrigerator. So I'm not going to have such a big refrigerator. I'm going to have the glass front small refrigerator. And so this wine fridge will come in handy. And it's also in keeping with the stainless steel that I got going on in the kitchen when I redid my stove area and I took the stove out. And so, by the way, I want to give you an update on that. It is working so nicely. Those two iBurners induction cooktops with the induction pots and pans that I got cooks things evenly, perfectly, and great. I have no problems. I absolutely love it. I cooked a big meal for my family last night, and they absolutely loved it. The oven, the two-door oven that I put on that lower shelf, still works wonderfully. I absolutely love the timing feature on that. All you have to do is set the timer, and once that timer goes off, the oven shuts off. And your food doesn't get burnt. It's cooked perfection and perfectly. So I really like the way that's working. And so I'm going to continue on this theme because my kitchen is becoming more functional for me and my lifestyle. And so I just want to show you that how I'm putting this all together. So let's recap and let's look at the kitchen with the stove in it. And then let's look at the kitchen with the new setup that I have for the stove. Keep watching. All right, guys, so this is my stove that I had in, just a plain white stove that kind of matched and went with everything else. Here it is from a different angle, but I needed to change this because I was not using this like I should have. So now I have a different arrangement, something more usable and functional. We got the stainless steel, we have the countertop oven that's located on the bottom shelf, and we have an induction cook eye on the top, and it's working wonderfully. All right, so now let's take a few moments in this video to walk through what I did to change out that stove. That whole setup there needed to be gotten rid of. So I did get rid of that. I changed it out. Let's talk about what it took to do that, why I did that in the first place, and how it's working now. So keep watching. Figured out what I'm doing yet. I am putting in a stove alternative. Yes, in my kitchen. So these areas when we pulled the stove out was so greasy, and the side of the stove was so greasy. I'm tired of it. That is a lot of cleaning, and it's a fire hazard, and I just can't have it. So I'm moving into what they're doing today, and I'm going to show you how to modernize your kitchen the right way. So this is extra film that's on here. You do need to peel this off. It looks so good that you would think that this is just part of it, but it's not. It's supposed to all be stainless steel. So you want to get it to that perfection. Now this is where my stove was. This fits perfectly. But look at, I got to do these floors too back here. So I'm going to get this set up, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. Here it is. I definitely need to stain underneath. My stain will be here tomorrow, so we'll get that done. But this is what it looks like with the stove taken out. And I measured, and I got it perfect. Countertop height. So this is going to look really nice. All right, guys, look at what I got so far. So I'm feeling a little embarrassed, so please excuse the floor because I got to get my stain in from Home Depot. It comes in tomorrow, and then I'll be able to go over these floors. By the way, the stain ebony is popular this year, and it was all sold out of every Home Depot in Minnesota. So now they're starting to slowly get some back in, and they're going to have 2. And so I'm going to go and grab those 2 tomorrow. I actually ordered it and paid for it already. But anyway, so please excuse that part of the flooring. But this is what it looks like. I cleaned it. So this is the double oven. What I appreciate about the oven is it turns off when the pizza or anything's done. You set a timer, it turns right off. So you never have to worry about the coils burning out or this starting a fire or anything. Plus it's on a stainless steel enclosure, so it's really nice. All right, so now this stainless steel thing here is by Zevor, and so is the induction cooktop, same brand. And so we only use 2 eyes, but I like that they're across from each other. And these are your dials to turn it on and off. And this gives you your temperature. You can set a timer, or you can lock it for the kids so they can't get a hold of it. Then you just turn it off. Even if you turn it on, it won't come on until a pot is actually on there. And I'm about to open up the pots that I got, so keep watching. Okay guys, so this is the stove top in action, and I got my induction pots and pans that go on top. And when you put the pots and pans on the stove, that is what prompts the stove to start working. So you just use the dials, turn it on, and then it'll start cooking. So these stainless pans I got from Amazon, and they cost me about $69. As you can see, the bottom is magnetic and it works perfectly with the induction cooktop. It cooks everything very evenly. All you need to do is just turn it on, and then you set the temperature to where you would want it, and then voila, it starts cooking. I'm going to show you this in action next. Okay, so here I am frying some pork chops, and I'm gonna make some rice. But as you can see, the pork chops are being fried evenly on all sides. That's what I really appreciate about this induction cooktop and these pots and pans that I'm using. All right, this is another dish I made using the induction cooktop. This is creamy potato soup, and I added ham and some other vegetables to it. But what I want to point out here is I love the way that this induction cooktop cooks my soup evenly. So that's what I'm showing you here. Nothing sticking to the bottom. I'm stirring it. Everything is consistent and very nice. Now what I'm going to do is add in the meat, which is the ham. And I'm just pouring it in smoothly and nicely. And I'm going to mix it all in once all the ham gets into the pot. And I'm really excited because this cooktop is cooking this food so evenly. It's going to make for a wonderful meal. I also want to point out these are the pots and pans that I purchased. These are actually induction stainless pots and pan set that does go with an induction cooktop. So you wouldn't be able to use this particular pot and pan on a regular stove. It's only used for an induction cooktop stove. Alright guys, so now that we have the induction stove top working and all that set up in place, now we're going to move to removing the dishwasher and putting in a wine chiller fridge. So keep watching. Okay, you guys, this is the dishwasher that I had for the last 5 years. As you remember, I did paint this with chalkboard paint, and now I painted it back white. But now it is time for this dishwasher to go, and we will be replacing this with a wine chiller cooler. Okay, so here we are a couple days later. My son and I went and picked up the wine chiller cooler. We have to let it sit for 24 hours, but actually it's going to be sitting a little longer than that because we have not quite figured out how to unhook the dishwasher. Because I'm in an older home, we found out that when the people put the dishwasher in, they kind of rigged it up in a way that's really difficult to get it unplugged. So we need to figure that out first before we can put in the wine chiller. But I want to show you what the wine chiller cooler looks like. So let's walk through that detail right now. Okay, everyone, here's the wine chiller cooler. So I'm actually going to use this as the wine cooler and also the beverage cooler. The unique thing about this is it has two sides to it. It's going to fit right in the spot where I have the dishwasher. But let's talk about the two sides. So the first side, I am going to put beverages. So I may have to change out these racks, but the second side, I can leave the racks and put in the wine. So we have two different sides. I believe it holds 18 bottles of wine on one side, and then I can do maybe 18 to 25 beverages on the other side. It is lockable, so they do come with two locking keys, and it is zone temperatured. So each side has its own temperature that I can set. So I really like that feature. Now let's talk about the height. It's 33 inches tall, so it does fit in that spot. It's about 27 inches wide and 21 inches deep. I may have gotten that twisted around. Maybe it's 21 wide and 27 deep, but either way, it does fit right in that opening, and it's going to work lovely for this space. All right, guys, so let's talk about where I found this and the price. I actually did a little research on Facebook Marketplace, and I located this wine chiller. Now, I have had wine coolers before. I actually have one at my cabin, and that one's just a little bit smaller. It's a countertop one. It works perfectly for the cabin. I love that when I'm not at the cabin for a while and I do go up there, that I have nice, fresh, cold drinks when I first walk in, because that is needed in your hot summer months. However, at home, I want to do something a little differently, and I'm getting rid of the refrigerator, and we talked about that before, but because I'm going with a smaller type of refrigerator, I really want to make sure that my beverages are in a spot where I can get to them. And plus, I do like cold wine. Oftentimes, I am filling up my wine glass and sticking it in the freezer for like a half hour before I'm actually drinking it. So this is going to allow me to be able to have access to fresh cold wine. The nice part is it has a lock on there, so when the grandkids come over or anyone that I don't want in my wine cabinet, I can actually lock it and no one will be able to get in there but me. So I like that a lot. So the price of this was $250 for this unit. And now when you're searching on Facebook Marketplace, you really have to take your time in what you're looking for. Do your research when you find items that you like, just to see what they retailed priced at, to make sure that you're getting a good deal. This particular one, I did not want to argue with the person and try to get a lower deal, because I knew she had it priced right. And I was very, very happy with that. When she gave me all the books and keys to it, when I actually picked it up, here's the keys, both keys of the book. I looked and she paid actually $1,000 for this unit. So that was the actual price. So I did not want to deviate from the $250 that she was charging. And she did state that she doesn't drink anymore. So soon after she got it, they didn't use it anymore. So they finally got it out of their home and they just put a cabinet in its spot. But they wanted to make sure they gave it to someone that would be able to use it. Now, this actual chiller is a 36 bottle wine chiller cooler. And like I said, I'm going to use one side for wine, so about 18 bottles. And because I'm going to use smaller cans for like pop and different beverages, I can probably get more than 18 bottles over here. So I'm thinking between 18 and 25 cans I would be able to get over here. But I probably will have to change out that shelving a little bit. So I'm looking to see where I can find shelving that will fit in that space. So keep watching. More video footage coming up. Okay guys, so let's go through the instruction book where it tells you a little bit more details about this wine cabinet. So it breaks everything down as far as the capacity. As you can see, it has different locks. And I have actually 2 keys that lock these doors, and it is also zone temperature, it's vented, all of that. So here's the on and off and set switch. You can also, what I appreciate is the different temperatures and the various keys that you have for it. So this is me demonstrating actually unlocking and locking this wine chiller. So you can actually lock one side and leave the other side open, or you can lock both sides. So whatever you want to do, I'm preferring to lock the side that I have the wine on. The other side I will leave unlocked so people will be able to access the different pops and beverages that I have in there. But as you can see, this is pretty heavy duty locking system, so it's not something that people will be able to get it open easily without the keys. So that's something I want to point out. Another thing I want to point out is these heavy tempered glass doors, which is encased in stainless steel. So this is in keeping with the design that I have going on in the kitchen. I like this digital display so that way you can keep track of the temperature. Okay guys, so I brought my middle son over to disconnect the electrical on the dishwasher. And it was a little bit tricky, but we did manage to find where it was connected. They actually hardwired it in, but he was able to get it loose and get my new wine chiller in. So just recap here. One side we're going to use for wine and the other side we're going to use for beverages. So each side is zoned a little bit differently. So what my son is doing now is just trying to make sure it fits snug under the cabinet. You may need to do a little bit of alterations just to make sure that it fits. All right, here it is, ladies and gentlemen, all in its spot. I have the lights on. Each side it's temperatured a little differently, but I was able to put pops and beverages on one side, and then I have yet to pick out my display of wine that I want on the other side. So one side I set to 77 degrees and the other side is set to about 65, 66 degrees, ready for my wine. But these are a few pictures of what it looks like all in its place.